Plug-in hybrids are supposed to ease our transition from internal combustion engines to EVs. We can daily commute on short distances using electricity, but during longer road trips there is no range anxiety because the petrol engine has our back. Is this the perfect combination of powertrains, or is this the worst of both worlds? Do plug-in hybrids even make sense? Let's look at 11 PHEV models and decide. By complete coincidence, I'm standing next to the car that alphabetically opens the list. This is the Alfa Romeo Tonale plug-in hybrid Q4. You can find reviews of all the cars mentioned in this video on my channel, though the Tonale review will come in a few weeks. Links in the description. By the way, if you're a channel member, you can watch the review of this car earlier, before everyone else. This is one of many PHEVs in the Stellantis group. You'll find everything from Citroën to Jeep. Leaving aside the Jeep Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee, which have more advanced PHEV drivetrains, we can divide the remaining models into front-wheel drive with 180 or 224 horsepower and all-wheel drive with around 300 horsepower. The exceptions are the Alfa Romeo Tonale, which has all-wheel drive and 280 horsepower, and the Peugeot 508 PSE, which has all-wheel drive and 360 horsepower. But while most Stellantis models have a traction battery of about 12 kWh and a claimed electric range of 40-50 km on warm days and 20-30 in the cold, the Tonale has a 15 kWh battery and a promised range in electric mode of up to 82 km. Prices for the Alfa Romeo Tonale start at €36,800, but none of the regular engine variants come close to PHEV's performance, and you'll have to dish out at least €51,000 for the plug-in hybrid power and all-wheel drive. Something worth pointing out regarding the traction battery capacity and charging. In some models, for example BMW, plug-in hybrids have just 3.7 kilowatt onboard chargers due to small battery capacity and German regulations on the installation of home AC charging points. The larger the traction battery, the longer it will take to charge with the same power level. So you should look for a more powerful onboard charger like 7.4 kilowatts, for example. That's usually an option on Stellantis models. This way, if you run out of juice on your daily commute and stop somewhere for longer like work or the mall, you can recharge and continue driving in electric mode, provided, of course, that the price of charging from a public outlet does not exceed the equivalent price of fuel. Even the BMW XM with a 26 kWh traction battery has only 7.4 kilowatt onboard charger, but the ride, handling and aesthetic experience is exceptional. You can easily drive in zero emissions mode for up to 80 kilometers, 80 something even, but when you want to show the world that the V8 is still going strong, you just press the fan pedal and move the earth in the opposite direction. For 200 grand, no peasant is going to stop you. Speaking of which, what's the PHEV really for? The technology, which came to the masses around 2010, was well received in some countries, where incentives were even offered to buy PHEVs. Not surprisingly, some brands sold plug-ins as a way to circumvent emissions restrictions and offer more power to the people willing to pay for it. Hyundai and Kia adopted a different strategy. The sister brands offer their most popular models with a choice of internal combustion engines and plug-in hybrids. For example, the Kia Ceed. It looks like a regular Estate, but it's a PHEV. The boot in the PHEV has 437 litres capacity versus 512 in the MHEV version and 625 in the non-electrified version if you can still find one. The PHEV is powered by a normally aspirated petrol engine that works in tandem with an electric motor. With an 8.9 kWh traction battery located under the rear seat, the Ceed Estate can travel up to 57 km in zero emissions mode. Well, realistically it's more like 50. On colder days, the car will warm up the engine on startup. Even if you're driving in electric mode, pressing the accelerator harder starts the petrol engine, so it's a good thing it's already warmed up. Fuel economy. Assuming you're driving up to 60-70 km a day in the city, fuel consumption will settle around 3 liters per 100 km. The longer you drive on petrol, the more the fuel consumption approaches 7 liters per 100 km. Charge from a regular electric socket, as a wallbox will reduce your charging time only from about 5 to 3 hours. prices for the Kia Ceed Sportswagen start at €26,000. A plug-in hybrid starts at €38,000. As of recent, Lexus has some tempting PHEVs in its range. Tempting not because of the low price, but because you don't have to listen to the petrol engine whining. The Lexus NX, let's leave the RX for now as it costs a lot more, has a 545-litre boot, modern design and an 18 kWh traction battery that gives an electric range of around 60-70 kilometers. You can and should upgrade from a standard 3.3 kilowatt onboard charger to a 6.6 kilowatt unit. 309 horsepower, towing up to 1500 kilograms, 6.3 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Lexus NX prices start at €51,000 and the plug-in hybrid starts at €64,000. When the Netherlands promoted PHEVs, Mitsubishi was able to sell just about any number of Outlander PHEVs over there. That model is temporarily out of stock because we're waiting for the new generation, which shares components with the new Nissan X-Trail. Mitsubishi is offering the Eclipse Cross PHEV, and I list it here as a warning: don't go down that road. The Eclipse Cross PHEV has two electric motors, a 2.4-litre petrol engine, and 14 kWh traction battery that lives under the floor between the axles. Normally, the car is powered mainly by electric motors. The internal combustion engine drives the front axle only in certain situations, but its main task is to generate energy to recharge the traction battery. Charging the battery from an ordinary household outlet takes about 7 hours, but Mitsubishi is one of the few brands to also offer fast charging in plug-in hybrids. If you can find a Shademo outlet, it takes about half an hour to charge the traction battery to 80%. Mitsubishi also promises about 80 kilometers of range in zero emissions mode. On a cold day, the range is halved, and on top of that, the internal combustion engine runs almost all the time, presumably to maintain the right temperature. Once the traction battery is empty, the car switches to hybrid mode, in which the internal combustion engine generates enough energy for the electric motors to move the car along. In the long term, the fuel consumption without charging settles at around 9 liters per 100 kilometers. At least at €37,500, it's relatively cheap. Mazda always goes against the trend, and I'm not even talking about the MX-30 with a Wankel engine range extender. That's coming up in a few months. Today it's the CX-60 PHEV, and it's an alternative to a 6-cylinder diesel. A 7.2 kilowatt onboard charger, an almost 18 kilowatt-hour traction battery, boot larger than in the Lexus NX, sleek design. However, just about everything you'd expect to come as standard, Mazda offers in equipment packs. Also, the Mazda CX-60 has weird steering and not especially good adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist. More on that in my review. And why bother with the diesel? Actually, this is very interesting, as in Germany, the CX-60 PHEV costs €47,390, €2,000 less than the cheapest diesel. So, if a 50 grand PHEV is your thing, this is definitely better than the Alfa Romeo Tonale. Mercedes-Benz has a PHEV in almost every segment. I'm a big fan of the A-Class sedan 250e. The A250e has a 16 kWh traction battery, a real-world range of about 60 kilometers. The hybrid system can take navigation data into account for better economy on longer trips. The car accepts 7.4 kilowatts as standard, but there's also a CCS port for fast charging, which will probably annoy EV users. Long-term fuel economy with the traction battery empty is about 5 liters per 100 kilometers. Prices of the A-Class sedan, or limousine as Mercedes likes to call it, start at around €38,000, the PHEV starts at €45,000, and a regular petrol or diesel model with similar performance costs about €44,000, so not a huge difference. Suzuki Across is a rebadged Toyota RAV4 PHEV or Prime. Nothing unique to Suzuki, no regular hybrid version, but it's a good car nonetheless. Simply put, this is more or less the same powertrain as on the Lexus NX. I drove the Across during a cold winter, so my best result in electric mode was less than 60 kilometers. I still think it's not bad considering promised range is up to 75 kilometers. This is a good workhorse, just beware of the all-wheel drive system. The rear axle is driven by an electric motor, and without traction control, the all-wheel drive pretty much fails miserably. Suzuki Across prices start at €58,000. Since there is no regular hybrid, we have to look at Toyota, where the RAV4 starts at €44,000, but the RAV4 PHEV is almost €2,000 more expensive than the Suzuki Across. We'll remain in Japan, and this time it's the 5th generation of the Toyota Prius. In Europe, it's only a PHEV. Depending on the trim level, the range in electric mode can be even more than 80 kilometers. Not if you go for the top spec with a solar roof, but on a sunny day, Toyota claims you can recoup up to 8 kilometers of range. More about that in my review in September. The biggest drawback is the small boot and the poor soundproofing. On the motorway, it's unbearably loud. But around town, you get a super fuel-efficient car that looks like it's from space, more Lieutenant Uhura than the Alien. Prices of the Toyota Prius PHEV start at €45,000, and this car has virtually no competition. There are not many plug-in hybrids that are true family cars. The segment has a lot of potential for short electric power, like, school, soccer trips, shopping, etc. And once a while, a family vacation. Enter the Volkswagen Multivan e-hybrid. The new Multivan is built on the MQB platform, the same that underpins Volkswagen models from Polo to the Passat. This helps to increase travel comfort and allows the use of modern safety and driver assistance systems, as well as share powertrains with other MQB models. There are 2 body lengths and several interior configurations depending on how many passengers will regularly travel in the Multivan and what kind of luggage will be loaded. For some occasions, you can remove some of the seats or move the seats to increase cargo capacity. Sliding doors, once you try them on a family car, there's no going back. The Multivan PHEV has 218 horsepower, the traction battery is barely 10.4 kWh, so instead of promised 47 kilometers, I wouldn't expect more than 40. It takes less than 4 hours to charge from a home outlet. Long-term fuel consumption with the battery depleted is about 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Prices for the Multivan start at €51,500 for a diesel. Since Germany doesn't seem to offer the Multivan e-hybrid, I jumped over to the Austrian website where a PHEV starts at €57,000, about the same as the diesel and €6,000 less than a 204 horsepower TSI petrol, which offers performance similar to the PHEV. As I've said earlier, some brands use plug-in hybrids as a way to smuggle performance into its model range. This is what Volvo does. For example, the XC60 T8 Recharge, a 455 horsepower plug-in. The boot has 468 liters capacity, including underfloor storage, where a charging cable can fit. In off-road mode, the car handles just fine on my diagonal approach test, but it's on tarmac where the XC60 T8 Recharge truly shines. Of course, you can also drive like a stereotypical Volvo customer and achieve more than 70 kilometers in zero emissions mode. The onboard charger is only 3.7 kilowatts, so charging takes about 4 hours. Once the 18 kilowatt-hours of energy in the traction battery is depleted, I estimate long-term fuel consumption at around 7-8 liters per 100 kilometers, provided I don't use all 455 horses. Fortunately, the XC60 has a 71-liter tank regardless of the engine variant. This is important as many brands offer plug-in hybrids with a smaller tank than its petrol or diesel counterparts. Volvo XC60 prices start at €53,500. The cheapest plug-in hybrid costs €68,800. So, do PHEVs make sense? Yes and no. The performance models are like putting a band-aid on an open fracture. You pay more for performance, but you also have to carry additional 300 kilograms or so in batteries, electric motor, cables, etc. You could probably enjoy better handling from a lighter, even though less powerful, petrol engine. Also, as PHEV incentives disappear, it seems like the choice is to either hold on to your regular car or take a leap of faith and go fully electric. Especially that you'll need a place to charge. If it's at home, solar panels are a must, otherwise your energy bills will soar. However, if it's your employer paying for the car and charging, PHEV may be the way to go. The company will get some green credits and you're not stuck with an EV which may not fit your lifestyle. And what do you think about PHEVs? Are they the right choice for you, or are you already on the full EV side? Let me know in the comment section below. New listicles every last Friday of the month. If you have an idea for a list I should make, let me know under this video. Maybe it'll be the topic of one of the future episodes. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.